Sew a stitch. I did a tester. Makes a very nice stitch. It might be hard to see here, but you want the thread to look even on the top and the bottom. You don't want it to be loops or just like have it appear that the thread is just laying on the fabric. That's also a bad stitch. And it will tell you in your book, there's a good diagram in there. So you want your threads both, got to round them up, both to the back and out of the way. Normal tension is 4. Here's the indicator. To tighten it, you turn to the right. To loosen it, you turn to the left. But I've found 4 to be the most appropriate. Here is your stitch width. We want 0 for a straight stitch. These are for zigzag. We'll get to those in a minute. Needle position, center, left and right. Center is the most appropriate, especially for just a tester stitch. Here's your stitch length. As far as I know, the numbers indicate stitches per inch. So the finer you want them to be would be a higher number. If you're just basting, you want it to the absolute bottom because then you would just have long stitches. So we are going to put our fabric in. We're going to reach back here, put our presser foot down. That puts this down and holds the fabric in place. You have the luxury of having a presser foot pressure indicator, which is a little like thermometer gauge that as you turn the pressure dial, the needle will tell you how much pressure is on the presser foot. I would refer to your manual to see what setting is appropriate for which fabric. I've never had one of those, so that's pretty cool. Okay, so we're going to hit the gas. Remember, keep our threads to the back. You always want to start with the take-up at the very top, or your thread will pull out and or break your needle, and you'll have to rethread your needle. So, there we go. When you're just starting, I would stay pretty slow, just so you can keep an eye, make sure this doesn't come out, this doesn't come unthreaded. Make sure you don't break your thread. Whenever you stop, you want to pull the wheel towards you. Always turn it towards you when it's threaded until the take-up lever is at the very top. Then you stop, lift your presser foot, always pull your material to the back. Give yourself a good length of thread before you cut it. I usually go past the edge of the bed just to make sure, and then snip it. And there you go, a very nice stitch. So we will try a zigzag. Presser foot down. Stitch width, we'll go all the way over so you can see. 4 is the widest. Always, if you're doing zigzag, make sure that stays on center so that the needle has space to go back and forth. We'll leave our stitch length the same. Take up at the top. Sorry, that's not focusing well when it's moving. There you go. See, the needle goes back and forth, back and forth. Take up at the top, turn the wheel towards you, lift your presser foot, pull to the back, to the edge of the bed, snip your thread, check out your stitch. That's pretty nice for having just been cleaned and not adjusted real well. It looks like our tension could be a little better because that is not a true zigzag. So we would have to, if the bottom does not look appropriate, that means you need to adjust this dial. So I would say we may need to go a little looser. Let's try that. Take up at the top. Trust me, all you have to do is forget that a couple of times and you will remember for the rest of your life. And it's always when you're in a hurry and you're going to sew something really quick that's when you forget. Okay, so I went looser and that was the wrong direction because now it looks worse than the other one. You want the bottom to match the top, so it should be a perfect zigzag. So put the presser foot back down. Before we put the presser foot down, we adjust the tension. So instead of 4 where we started, we'll go to 5 and see if that helps. Take up to the top, lift the presser foot. Okay, it's improved a little bit, but not a lot. As you can see, it's pulling it more towards the side. Here, it's kind of sloppy. This is getting a little better. So maybe 6 or 7. We'll work on that later though.